Welcome to LC Screen Talk. My name is Larry, and this is my recap, review, and character ranking for Season 1 of Love, Victor. So if you're new and you haven't already, make sure you check out my Season 1 reaction videos. I did live reactions to all 10 of Love Victor Season 1 episodes. They're all on here on the channel in a playlist, so make sure to head on over there and check those out. Today, I just wanted to go over the season at large, give my general impressions, and I thought it would be fun to give a character ranking. But first, let's go ahead and talk about Love Victor Season 1, shall we? Overall, I really enjoyed it. I think it was a very well done show, and it did a great job of creating a multitude of characters that the audience was able to care about. Right off the bat, honestly, I was already conflicted on what I wanted to see happen, where I wanted character arcs to go. I knew people were going to get hurt that I didn't want to see get hurt, but I also wanted Victor to be happy and realize his true self. I think that's really great work from the writers in developing these characters in ways that make me and others feel so conflicted and feel so drawn and connected to several characters throughout the show. Even those who were more villainous had great redeeming moments that worked really well. I also love, of course, I mentioned it in my reaction series, I love getting a brown LGBTQ kid up on the screen. Being of Latino background myself, it was really amazing to see this type of story get played out in mainstream media and to see it played out in a really grounded and most times authentic way. I could relate so hard to so many of Victor's internal struggles as he kind of navigated his way through figuring out who he was and what his path was going to be. I do have to say, there was a bit too much drama for me overall. I've definitely mentioned it throughout my reactions, but TV is not really my forte. I don't watch a lot of television series, and so when I do jump back into a new TV series, I find myself taken aback by just how many different dramatic storylines are at play. Every character has their own subplot and their own story that they're going through. I think it's both a positive and a negative. As I said before, it really helps ground you in these characters and get you to that point where you care about so many people on the show, so you're invested in multiple areas. But I noticed there's always one or two storylines amongst the many that I just really either couldn't care less about or don't like actively, just wish wasn't happening and taking up screen time. Since my main focus is film, it's just very different in that aspect. Film, you get 1, 2, maybe 3 main storylines or characters that we focus on and devote the screen time to, and the rest are kind of just on the periphery to build up that main storyline. And that also comes with disadvantages because oftentimes I'm like, oh, but you introduced this character and we didn't do anything interesting with them, so what's the point? However, I think we could have parsed down some of the family drama. In my personal opinion, it was just too much, and every time we devoted time to this divorce plotline, it was just distracting. And honestly, we didn't get that much time with Benji. There wasn't enough Victor Benji screen time and connection throughout the series. It gets you to the point where you are rooting for them to get together. However, I think Victor and both his relationship with Benji as well as Mia should have had more of the episode times. Instead, we were focusing on this divorce plotline that I think could have came in season 2, and it still could have heavily played into Victor's coming out and him readjusting, but it seems a story that should have come a little bit further down the line so we could establish Victor and these relationships we're supposed to care about a little deeper. However, I loved the incorporation of Simon, the school, the throwbacks to the Simon. Episode 8 was wonderful, and it was really great to get all different types of LGBTQ representation in one episode. And that leads me to talk about my favorite episodes of the season. Without a doubt, my top 3 episodes of the season were episode 3, episode 7, and episode 8. These episodes, you'll notice, these episodes heavily focused on kind of learning your identity, and they focused in on Victor as a character, Victor's issues. Episode 3 had my singular favorite moment. Benji saying "Call Me Maybe" at Battle of the Bands was hands down the best moment of the entire season for me. I love it so much. It's so magical. It makes me so happy. I think it's great. Episode 7 I really enjoy because we get that time with Victor and Benji to connect. We get this moment, and then it brings upon drama and a separation that we would have anticipated, but I think it does so in an interesting way. And episode 8 was a really great coming of age episode for Victor to experience a new setting, to be around peers who are like him, as well as other gay people who are not like him at all, getting exposed to the culture across the board. And I think that's very important for young viewers to see, that there's not a mold, there's not a stereotype to what makes you gay. And it was done and handled really well. I loved the friends, and of course I loved seeing Graham and Simon back in the flesh for this episode. So it was really just an uplifting and important episode of the show. Now, my least favorite episode of the season, well, if you watched my reactions, it's probably easy to guess. It was episode 4. That episode, we didn't really see Benji at all, and it heavily focused on this family drama, to a point that I think it was just such a detriment to the episode. It also created this storyline that was set up and left completely unresolved with the basketball team, which I'll get into soon, but I didn't care for it. I don't think it was bad necessarily, but it was easily the worst episode of the season for me. Looking ahead, we officially have Love, Victor Season 2. It has been renewed on Hulu. Thank goodness they waited long enough to announce its renewal. But if we didn't get a second season, I probably would just die. That would be terrible. I want to talk about the storylines I think really need resolution as we move into a second season. The obvious one is Victor coming out. That insane cliffhanger to end season 1 had me like screaming at my screen, but I knew they were going to pull some mess like that. Thankfully, we got a season 2, or else I might be rioting. However, what I want is for them to pick up in that exact scene. I don't want a time lapse. I'm so scared they're gonna jump forward to the next morning or the next day. I want that conversation. I think that conversation is truly important. Those reactions and that discussion is important, and a huge moment for him in his life and for him within the context of the series. So it would be such a shame if we don't pick up literally right where we left off on that cliffhanger. I want to see the reactions. I want to see the gambit of emotion. I want to see the processing. Of course, we're also going to have to discuss Victor's parents and their separation. Who's moving out? Are they going to have to split time? A divorcee type of family split? Custody talks? I'm sure all of that is on the horizon and will surely create quite the conflict, especially with the coming out being on top of that separation. But now, Victor and Benji are an item A, which I am very excited about. I'm just so ready for Victor and Benji time next season. I know we'll probably get some sort of relationship drama as the season moves throughout, but I just can't wait. That's what we were waiting for all season long, and I hope we get a full season at least of their relationship, please. Of course, that brings us to Mia and how she's going to bounce back, because what happened to Mia was devastating and pretty horrible. I'm really happy they subverted the trope of having Victor being outed by Andrew, per se. But I have to admit, I would really like to see moments where kids get to out themselves, where they get a true coming out moment and get to really decide it on their own terms to everyone they love. It was so great to see the Felix moment. It was really a great cliffhanger to see the family moment. But I knew they were going to have Mia just walk in, and it was sad. It was really sad because I think Mia is a great character, which you'll see on my ranking later on. And it just hurts me that she's going through so much this season. So yeah, we'll see if she decides to go down the Andrew path or if she is just feeling vulnerable recently because of the way Victor's been acting throughout the second half of the season. But I hope Mia gets happiness in season 2. And speaking on Andrew and Victor, we completely abandoned Victor and the basketball team. The moderately heavy storyline throughout the first 4 episodes or so. And then after he ran out of the basketball game, finding out about his parents, we never heard or seen a tale about basketball since. He kicked off the team. Did he quit the team when he ran off the basketball court? I have no idea. I don't think anybody else has any idea either. I hope that they come back and address something with that. Is there a repercussion for that at all in the storyline? Furthermore, if he is still on the basketball team, I think it would be a great opportunity to work through sports and being on a team sport as someone who identifies as LGBTQ. How does that coming out process happen? How does he process it? How do the teammates process it? And I would like to see them get to a good place with it by the end, but it would make for a very interesting and, once again, important plot line. So I hope we revisit basketball and we're able to get that important talk about queerness in team sports particularly. But we'll see. Of course, we're now at the point. Are Felix and Lake actually going to be in a relationship? Are we going to take a step back after that big prom moment? I hope that they work through it. I actually don't know if I think that they're a great couple, though, honestly. But this clearly could create quite a divide with Lake being Mia's best friend and Felix being Victor's best friend. What just happened between the two of them? Mia's obviously very hurt. So how is that going to affect the Felix and Lake relationship moving forward? And then finally, are we going to get more Simon? Is Simon going to be the very gay mother of season 2 like he was here in season 1? Is that a device that they're going to deviate from? Are we going to get another Simon appearance? Are we going to go back to New York? I don't know. I'm just curious to see if we get more Simon in season 2. So that is my basic recap review for season 1. I cannot wait to hear how you all enjoyed the first season. What are the questions you have heading into season 2? What were your thoughts? Let me know your favorite and least favorite episodes as well. Now, let's go ahead and talk about the characters. I decided to rank 13 of the characters from season 1 of Love, Victor. I stuck to our main cast, families, the friends, everybody who played at least a moderately impactful role in the narrative of season 1. However, I didn't include Simon. I just thought it was too unfair. Yes, he was technically in every single episode, and he actually played quite a huge role in Victor and his development, but I didn't see him much as a character in his own right. So I think a lot of that would have been coming from the film and like my pre-love for him. So I'm keeping it to original characters from the show and those who I think made some sort of impact on the narrative of the story. So that gave me 13 total characters. Coming in dead last, 13th is Derek. Yes, Benji's boyfriend. I made it pretty clear. I was not a fan. He was like the worst type of woke, gay, too cool for school type of kid. I thought he was a horrible boyfriend to Benji, really inconsiderate. And I hope we don't have to deal with any X drama for him next season. I hope we're done. Get out. I hope he's gone. He was far and away my least favorite character of the first season. At number 12, I have Harold Brooks, which is Mia's father. I thought he was fine. Basically, he had a lot to do with Mia's storyline. But I really think he had less to do than his new girlfriend. She really played into Mia's storyline. While I think Harold himself was kind of just there for the most of the part. So he didn't have a lot of characterization. He didn't actually do a lot himself. So he just kind of gets stuck at number 12. At number 11, I have Adrian. Now, I love Adrian. This is Victor's little brother. I think he's so adorable. I love seeing him play with the Elsa wand and just be himself throughout the first season. But we just don't get a whole lot of time with Adrian, so there wasn't a lot to connect to. He obviously didn't have any development other than just being cute and wonderful throughout the season. So I loved Adrian. I just don't think he's as developed as the other characters. At number 10, I have Veronica. This is Harold's new fiance, I should say. Not girlfriend, fiance. And I actually really enjoyed the character of Veronica. She seems like she could be a really fantastic character if Mia would let her. I really enjoyed that continued dynamic. I loved seeing that moment with her and Mia in the season finale, and I think it just opened up the doors to what could be a great storyline and relationship moving forward. So we didn't get a whole lot of Veronica either, but I think she developed more as a character than the people below. At number 9, I have Armando, which is Victor's father. Very interested in his reaction, particularly moving forward with Victor coming out. As I mentioned in the season, he seems like a character who is going to be quite against it to begin, but he has such a soft heart and actual love for his kids and his family that he's definitely going to come around. It'll just be getting rid of those microaggressions and those deep-rooted feelings that he has. So we'll see how that plays out. For this first season, though, again, you can see how much he loved his kids, but you could also see that resentment towards his wife throughout the season. An interesting enough character, I just didn't gravitate toward him like I did the others. At number 8, I have Isabel, which is Victor's mother. If I'm being honest, I didn't love a lot of her storyline. I didn't love that we had her be a cheater in this first season and all of this drama that went around that. As you can tell, it was not my favorite storyline, especially to have for his mother in season 1, but here we are. However, I did love the very apparent relationship between Victor and Isabel. It was a really wonderful relationship. It didn't require too much dialogue, and it was just really natural across the screen. I enjoy her as a character. I think she's a spitfire. She's really fun. I love seeing her interact with all of the children. At number 7, I have Lake. Yes, Lake, all the way down at number 7. She actually was almost number 8, y'all. Almost number 8. The moment with her mother was great because it showed a more human side to Lake. Because outside of that moment and maybe the very end with Felix and kind of him chipping away at that armor she put up, she oftentimes was a bit of a grating character for me. She had funny one-liners, she had great clothes all the time, but I just didn't vibe with her character very much. So Lake was definitely my least fave of our core group of friends. At number 6, I have Andrew. What? If you had asked me before episode 10, I'd say, where Andrew would be, he probably would have been right above Derek. Because they introduced him so terribly. However, Andrew did make some big leaps, some big strides in character development as we went throughout the season. And how he reacted to the news with Victor and towards Mia in her time of need was really fantastic and showed great maturity that he didn't have in the first episode. There's definitely hope for Andrew moving forward. I'm scared what his relationship with Victor is going to look like next season, just because of what Victor did do to Mia. Let's just be very clear. But I'm glad he didn't just stay the villainous jock we were introduced to. At number 5, I have Pilar. So I loved Pilar pretty much throughout the entire season. I think she's really funny. I love her headstrong personality. She just is a little bit of a petulant teenager. And that's what bumped her down a couple of points in my overall ranking. Her storyline obviously was relatable with being ripped away from your friends and everything you've ever cared about. Resentment that brings, plus just normal growing pains with your family. She was a little bit black and white overall, but again, she did have some nice character development as we moved throughout, and I just like her personality. At number 4, I have Felix. And it kind of pained me to put him this high. Because Felix is pretty annoying overall. His jokes and that humor do not land with me at all. I'm just constantly rolling my eyes with Felix, y'all. I know, he's a fan favorite. However, he's such a good person that I can wade through the foolery to get to the heart, and he has a lot of heart. That coming out scene with Victor was really special and one of his best moments of the entire season. Everything he did with Lake, bringing her into his home and really upholding her through that barrage she received from her mother, was also very endearing. And seeing him really gaining confidence as we moved throughout the season and stand up for himself was really cool. And I thought he went on a great arc in that respect. So he won me over, annoying jokes and puns and all, to get to number 4. So at number 3, I have Benji. Oh, how could I not love Benji? Even when he was mad at Victor, it was understandable to a degree. And I saw where he was coming from. However, I do think it was a bit much in how he was reacting, but it just showed his own internal struggle. He also liked Victor, and that kiss put him in a compromising position with his own moral compass already being in a relationship. However, Benji was really talented, really sweet, really fun, obviously super hunky for Victor. Again, that call me maybe moment is my favorite moment of the entire season. Easily would have been top 2 for me if we had just had more time with Benji, if we'd gotten more to do with Benji, but I loved pretty much everything about him. Coming in at number 2, I have Mia. Now this was actually really difficult. In many ways, Mia actually was the best character of season 1 for me. She's a really dynamic girl, really intelligent, really sweet, and was an amazing girlfriend for Victor. I loved most of what her character did this season, and it really broke my heart where we ended off with her. I just fell in love with her. I fell in love with her. Oh, Mia. So Mia, as a person, as a human, easily was the best character of season 1. However, I had to put Victor as my top spot because in so many ways, I could just relate to the character, obviously. And yes, he did hurt people, kind of like Simon hurt people in Love, Simon. But it puts you into such a gray area because so many of us just understand. We get it. We get why a young boy who is scared to come out, who is scared to accept himself, who didn't even say the words, "I'm gay," until episode 10, even after he had realized it, why he would do what he did at the end of the season and keep the secrets he did and the good intentions behind his actions. Seeing him get hurt and seeing him struggling so hard, trying not to hurt other people, was really so relatable, and you felt for him. It was beautifully acted, really well written, a dynamic, fully fleshed out and thorough character. I think Victor is a really great, flawed protagonist. I'm just really excited to see him continue on his journey. So that is my character ranking for the main characters of season 1 of Love, Victor. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Leave your character ranking in the comment section down below. Also, make sure you comment about the season at large, your favorite moments, your favorite episodes, and if you are really dying to just get to season 2 already. Leave all of those comments in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button down below and subscribe to the channel so you are always up to date on my latest videos. I love you all so much for your continued support. Mwah! Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.